before you do that, let me just give by way of introduction, welcome everybody. This is a town hall meeting to talk about the future of facilities at Los Angeles Mission College. And there was a lot of discussion I had with the leadership of the campus that urged that we ought to have a town hall meeting on this. It's really important. Now, there's been a whisper, or there's been a rumor that I'll call, that we may, LACCD may go after another bond, another construction bond in November 2016. The board is considering it, so they've hired a pollster, an opinion person company to go out to see if the community would support a bond. Also, they will be talking to each of the campuses about should we have a bond, and if we do have a bond, will you support it? That's going to happen over the next couple of months. And then the board will make a decision, it appears in July, if they want to move forward with the bond. So right now it's a study period. So what we have here is the current deferred projects and some possible proposed projects on the screen. Now, deferred projects were projects that were approved by the college, already approved, that we thought we were going to build, and those of you remember what happened. What happened? The district ran out of money. In fact, after an audit was completed 2 years ago, we found we needed to, each college had to kick money back to the district to cover the current projects that were underway. So we kicked back $14 million, okay? In addition, we had to give them $3 million more for insurance that they never assessed us for from day one. All of that's behind us now. We have good leadership, and now we're not going to do that again. But you should know that that was one of my main things when I was hired May 2011. The chancellor told me, please clean up the bond program, make sure it's working at LA Mission. So deferred projects were projects that we already approved, but were deferred, meaning we didn't move forward. One is the Student Services Administration building, which has already been approved by the Department of State Architects. All the architecture is ready to go, but we didn't have the money to build it. And that's going to be located by where the bungalows are off of Eldridge. All those bungalows are going to be put across the street on Hubbard. We have about almost 3 acres there of available land that we purchased for that. The other is the athletic fields. If you recall, we ran up against a lot of issues with that, having to do environmental protection issues as well as some funding issues and land issues. So that one was deferred as well, but we had money set aside for NCEA baseball, softball, soccer, and a complex. So the students can shower and change and be ready for the games. The other one deferred was plant operation facility. How many of you walk back there where our plant operation is and see what our custodians and locksmith and painters have to live with every day? It's not very conducive to an operation in terms of maintenance and operation. So that was a deferred project. We were going to put building there with enough warehouse space for our equipment and so forth. The other is the library. That also has been completely approved by the Department of State Architects, and it was going to really renovate the entire library, first and second floors. Donna's shaking her head yes. And everything was good to go, but again, the funding was not there for construction. One of the things that we discussed is if Student Services leaves the Instructional Administration building, what do we do with that space? So there was the desire to move the sheriff out of the bungalow and move him into the Instructional Administration building with more room, but also that would be the command center with funding coming from Mercy Operations Center. And the idea was we would get county money, state money, and Homeland Security money to put together for Northeast Valley, the Northeast San Fernando Valley, an emergency operations center. So if there is a earthquake, a fire, a natural disaster, Mission College would be the place where all the community comes. And so you need a command center to do that, has to have all the communication equipment. So we thought we could do that if we move the sheriff into that. We've already gotten approval for that from all the first responders, fire, LAPD, sheriff, county, but we had to hold off on that. The other is what we call East Campus Interconnection. We were hoping to do that. Health, Fitness, Athletic Complex, and Center for Math and Science to be connected both electrically and communication as well as utilities. Right now they have their own separate systems. So the idea to save money but also to make sure that it's uniform, we would connect those two. Traffic mitigation, there's always have to be some funding for traffic mitigation. That was deferred. What happened is we didn't do the athletic fields, which required some major traffic mitigation, new lights, pathway connectivity. So since we didn't do it, that money has been set aside for to finish whatever we need to do here in this bond. However, if we're going to do the athletic fields, we're going to have to do traffic mitigation. That's a environmental requirement. And then Sunland Tahunga Satellite Center. How many of you remember that we had $25 million for Sunland Tahunga, right? Well, they took that too. Now, I'm happy to say that Sunland Tahunga community is still very interested in working with us. I have been ongoing conversations with Sunland Tahunga leadership, particularly Neighborhood Council. Let me announce we're opening a little satellite in Sunland Tahunga this summer or the fall. It will provide adult education classes. We found a storefront, brand new, on 7200 Foothill, with plenty of parking, and we're going to start offering classes in Sunland Tahunga. Now, it's not this huge building that originally was considered, but my goal with that is if there's demand, we will grow it. So that's going to happen, but if we end up getting a new bond, should we in fact build something more substantial there? Just a thought. So that was put on hold. And finally, central plant upgrade. We are going to have a central plant in this bond. However, because of the funding limitation, it's smaller and not as robust as we'd like in terms of utilities, savings, and generating power, our own power. So if we get a new bond, we can build on the central plant and put more capacity, which means we'll save buku money on utilities. And you all know we're in Department of Water and Power. All our bills are going up, including Mission College. You all know that with new buildings coming up, the Performing Arts Building, that's going to require power, utilities. So we need to find a way to save money with our utilities. So those are the deferred projects that are already on the list. Now the proposed projects are projects that have come to me from different groups and people and so on. One is purchase the abandoned land for parking behind the Center for Mathematics and Science. I don't know if you all know, but there's this abandoned acreage right next to the parking structure in Center for Math and Science. Let's buy it and have it as part of Mission. And then we can decide if you want to put parking, which has been the suggestion, more parking back there, because I don't know if you know, but it gets pretty crowded. And faculty should get more parking too. The other is this Hubbard. We have that 3 acres on Hubbard. It's empty right now. We're going to use it for swing space, but after Student Services building is built, what do we do with that? One idea is to set up an adult continuing community education facility there, where we can offer community classes, where people can enroll. We can offer adult basic education classes, you know, so that we get them ready to come to Mission College. That's one idea. The other is decorative fencing. Now, some time ago, there was an idea about having 4 feet decorative fencing all around the campus. It's a safety issue, and that's why they brought it up. And I heard what happened. My good friend Jack, who was your president, what was Jack's last name? Fujimoto. By the way, he contacted me. Oh, maybe some of you know this. He emailed me and said there's a time capsule from 25 years ago. It's now ready to be opened. So we're going to have a big celebration. I'm inviting Jack over. I've known Jack before he was at Mission. I've known him for years. But Jack remembered the internment camps, and so he didn't want a fence around the campus because he went to an internment camp. So that's what really happened there, and that's a piece of little gossip, if you will, but it's important. And then finally, faculty office classroom building at the current administration complex. Some people think we can build more classrooms where we have the president's office, the business office, and all that, more classroom space. And then finally, the golf course. Some suggestion that we might want to revisit taking over the golf course. But those are the only ones that have come to me. So here's the charge. We have about 20 minutes. I'd like you to sit down, discuss in your group, at your table, projects you think we should consider to move forward with. List them all out, and if you can, have the time, rank them as a group. And then what we'll do is share them with everybody, and then we'll look at what sort of bubbles up as stuff we might want to consider. Deferred projects are pretty well, they're ready to go. They're in the hopper. They just were deferred because of funding. They were already in our master plan. The possible projects don't have to happen. Those are just some of them that I've heard through different individuals and groups. So your task is to sit down and discuss what other ideas do you have, okay? Don't worry about the length of it. The more the better, because when funding comes around, we have more, not less. Okay, sounds good. Let's all come back and let's see what we came up with. Possible proposed projects. Okay, who wants to start? Which table wants to give their list? All right, Jack's table. You guys, the ASO's ready to go. Okay, the first table is with ASO, and Jax is going to present.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so we have double-decker parking on East Campus with a possibility of having some type of mini cafe or food option in the parking structure so that you can grab food on your way to or from classes. We also have the golf course. We as students still want that. We think it should be ours. We have the purchase of the abandoned land on East Campus, but instead of extending parking, we would like to extend our allied healthcare programs that we just started. And we think that that would go really well with all that we have on East Campus already. And then lastly, we have, food options or a mini cafe on East Campus as well. If we don't put it into the parking structure, we still feel that there needs to be an alternative food option.
Any questions? Very good, thank you. Now please, we'll collect them all here, okay? Yes, Mark. Okay, you're there next.
We were creative. We had active imaginations. So we listed them and then we ranked them. And so our number one rank was a food/coffee kind of facility and copier machine at the CMS. Number two was a dedicated shuttle from the CMS to the campus. We were thinking, like Disneyland parking lot, where you kind of get in and it keeps rolling. Three is additional faculty offices for all the new faculty we're hiring. Four is a new building for the allied health programs that we're having on campus. They're just going to keep growing. Five is a 50-seat computer lab on the main campus for classes that are bigger than the smaller labs, because some students can't use them. Some classrooms can't use them, or classes. A CTE department, we don't really have a place for the CTE to be, and we hold a lot of conferences, CTE does, get-togethers, so a conference center for CTE and a department. 7 a 50-meter Olympic-sized swimming pool. And a swimming team to go along with it, I guess. Water polo. How about water polo? 8, a library entrance facing the quad. The library entrance faces away right now. 9 is a new building by CMS that would house the math, engineering, and computer, and with parking, so that the current CMS could be for sciences only, right? And 10, a mock courtroom for the law program here.
Yay, thank you, thank you. So let's collect them right there. Okay, Carlos is next, and then after that, Marion, okay, good, Kurt. What do you have there, Carlos?
All right, number one priority is the LAMC's adult ed location in Hubbard. Since it's more doable, we already have the location, so might as well just put them in there. And then number two, we kind of changed our priorities here, but number two is the abandoned land back there in the East Campus, just like everyone else. We're thinking about a 3-level parking structure, but also having an exit through Maclay. So that would say helps out with the traffic around that area, but also add classrooms and student services area also over there in the new building, since we don't have much student services going on over there. And then number 3, this is a crazy idea we just had, but I think it'll be good. It's making the current student services annex building into a 2-story building. And just the way to do that, we're thinking about like putting everyone in here in the campus center. We did that a few years ago. Well, we make it into a 2-story building. So once that deferred student services building, admin building is complete, we can move all in there, all the student services moves in there. Then we make that into classrooms or faculty offices, since we do need more space. And then we discuss fencing. So there was Caroline brought a good point. She gets here at 4:30 in the morning. Oh, some custodians get here at 4 in the morning. They're early, and there's someone sleeping in one of the buildings or something. So they're talking about fencing, but then we also talked about like having a college that's open to everyone. So there's some discussion on that. So we didn't put it up there, but I guess those are it. Any questions? No.
Very good. Thank you. Let's collect them. You can put it right there, Carlos. Put it right there. Okay, Marion and Kurt.
CTE facilities, we could do all sorts of stuff there. Health, of course, came up. Health, dental, maybe. Housing renovation, solar installation, auto mechanics, anything CTE. We don't have really much facilities for that. There seems to be a big demand. Another one, we had 3 related ones, so we put number 2 as something to do with the East Campus commute, if you will. Better lighting, at least, and better sidewalk so we don't trip and fall over roots. Possibly some sort of pedestrian bridge across the entrances to the students' parking lot or the staff parking lot and the golf course parking lot. Students just walk right across the roads there. Maybe have them go over those entrances to the lots. And also some sort of shuttle, which other people had mentioned as well. Cell phone towers and stuff, better universal Wi-Fi. We also had ideas about signage. One idea was to put like a Hollywood sign for LAMC up on the hill or something like that, or a U of A sign if you're a University of Arizona person, whatever. That type of thing. We did mention the golf course. Some of us faculty members like to actually play on that golf course, but nevertheless, it is a lot of land, we understand. Other things, accelerate the student, that's already on the list though, the student services building. So
Yes.
the big thing for us was the CTE and then something to do with the back and forth to the East Campus.
Very good. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Marion. Next group. Okay, Jan is here. I like this group. You had a little visual there, so the drawing architecture.
So we started with the ideas that are already up here, and we started with no fencing. Sorry, we do not want a fence. We think that it sends the wrong message to our community. We're trying to welcome people, not keep them out. So no fencing with a very angry face. Okay. Then we have the purchase of the land behind the CMS, utilizing the Hubbard. That's already up here. We kept it as 1 and 2. Faculty offices 3. Signage is 4. On the radar is buying the golf course and being aware of that. And then we have a new idea that we want to introduce, and that would be having a family resource center. And we see this as a building that would be a comprehensive services to families, not only students, but also employees, also faculty and staff, and community. Would be comprehensive in terms of social services, in terms of food bank, and it would grow, but it would start as a place where we could offer parenting classes, bring children in to have groups of children and parents interacting together. We could use it for instruction and child development as well as community service. So we've got some fabulous ideas of how that family service resource building could evolve. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, anybody else? Who are we missing? Robert? Come on up.
All right, so what we did, we kind of break down some of the things that we felt before we did that direction. The first thing we said is student union, not the student service building, the student union, because as you all know, the students hang out there and make a lot of noise. Everything I see, everybody just walk past them, they can talk, but they need a place for themselves. So we have a nice student union, which could be a billiard, pool hall, whatever, and it'll be definitely organized and structured the way Pierce has locally one, the city has one. Then we talked about the parking structure for East Campus. Definitely that's a need for it. We see that little house in the back that's kind of a fall apartment, getting that bulldozer down and making the next parking structure. The next thing we said, no fencing, but as a whole, that's a common thing. But as a whole, having fencing, maybe nice plant shrubbery, something that's eco-friendly, because we are going to a drought. So it'll be somewhere like Arizona, putting up nice trees, maybe cactus or something to keep people out, something. Something eco-friendly, expand the golf to the golf course, private property, but make it that eco-friendly as well, and maybe even have agricultural projects on there as well. Veteran Center, definitely Veteran Center will go into the student union. So student union buildings will have a myriad of uses. Conference center, we need conference areas, but that can go to the student union as well. So we're ranking the student union one parking structure and no fence. Those are top 3. That's it.
Very good, thank you. Okay. Who we missing? Corner over here. Come on up. And Dorothy, you guys after that. And then the final group is back there with Tara, right? Tara. Tara's a terror. Okay, go ahead.
Our ideas were pretty much like yours. The location that's empty across the street would be good for the community education, adult education, good for the community. Purchasing the land, we agreed with that. I'm thinking other STEM programs, or like you said, building off of what we've got new here. Security glasses may have already been in the proposal for the student services building, but just a little more security for working with the public. Not that they're all crazy, but pool is a great idea, and we didn't like the fencing idea either. A 4-foot fence wouldn't do much to keep anybody out, so that's it.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take that. Okay, we're collecting them. Good. Dorothy and Wally. Okay, Tara. Here you go.
Okay. I was a little self-serving here when I put at the top, but I'm going down here. Number 1, gender-neutral restrooms. Number 2, adequate space for classified employees. 2.5 was student services employees need more office space. 3, we have areas designed for students to gather. That would be the student union. 4, facilities for trades and training, like they have at Trade Tech. And 5, what's 5? Community service classes, and again, that would be good across the street. Did we have a 6? Yeah, faculty office space. They're in there. So.
Very good. Thank you. All right, Pat. Is Pat with you, Tara? Oh, Patty.
That is with me. Yes.
And Tara.
Tara, not the terror. So we decided to talk about what we don't want first, and that's no decorative fencing, and we don't want to talk about the golf course. Just let that be. Deborah would kill us if we didn't say the music practice rooms, because the new performance arts building doesn't have space for our music students. Career center. I guess that could go into, the other thing we wanted was the student shuttle service, and I guess the career center can go into the student union. That's number 4. Number 5 is get the land and make a parking structure. And 6, faculty and staff lounge, an actual faculty and staff lounge. Did I get it all? And I got it all. Oh, and then the food enjoyment area near the new building.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Tara. It seems to me that food is very important in all this. So that seems to be coming together. I guess I get a sense about decorative fencing, kind of it's a no-no. I like the other ideas you've come up with. So what we'll do is Oliva and I will get together, we'll go ahead and put the whole list according to priority and see where there was matches between the various tables, and then we'll come up with a proposed list for you to take another look at and give your final input. And then once I have that, I can submit all that to the district so they can price it. And all the colleges are doing the same thing right now. So they're trying to pull together their lists, and then we'll price it and see what we're talking about here. Any questions on that, where we go from here? Yes, Cindy. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You know, I can't take complete credit for it because I do meet with the leadership on campus, and they always have good ideas. So this came from the unions and also the Academic Senate and the ASO and others, you know, that it would be good to have a town hall meeting on this so we can start the process. So you're welcome. We're going to have another town hall meeting later this month. I'll arrange it, and it's going to be on adult education. The suggestion is, you know, where are we going with our adult education programs, continuing in community education? I have come up with a tentative plan for 15-16, but we need to talk about 16-17. And so we're going to have a town hall on that. Now, again, break you up into groups, and we can have that discussion. Anything else? Good. Well, I think there's still some more food if you're hungry, and thank you all for coming. We got it.